and welcome to the part of our webinar where we will talk how to make more accessible activities for persons with visual impairments. The aim of our organization should not be to organize activities for the visually impaired, but with persons with visual impairments. This means that activities should not be organized only where participants with visual impairments are coming together to participate in a training course or youth exchange, but activities should be more inclusive where just a few persons with visual impairments participate in a larger group with persons with normal development. So for this reason, our association 2 years ago decided to develop a methodology where we help youth workers to learn how to make more accessible the activities they organize day by day. Currently, our aim is to organize a large number of youth exchanges, training courses and other type of mobilities where persons with visual impairments can participate as well. During our webinar, we will teach you some tips and tricks that will make the activities you are organizing more accessible. You can find the whole methodology that we develop on our internet site where you just have to register and all the materials are accessible. And you can find everything on www.inclusion.ofetin.ro. You will also find there a compendium with already adapted methods that you can use in your youth exchanges or training courses. In case you would like to be part of our next Peers for Inclusion training course, please contact us at ofetin@gmail.com. In the next minutes, we will show you basic guiding techniques that will help you make your activities more accessible. The most important rule when guiding a person with visual impairments is never impose your help on them. Never push, grab, pull a person with visual impairments because he may get confused. Rather, ask him if he needs your help, and if he agrees to it, you can help him cross the street to safety. In different countries, there are different signs in which persons with visual impairments are asking for help. If you see someone in this position offer your help before, please check the sign available in your country. In the beginning, when you meet someone who is visually impaired, please make yourself noticed by touching his arm when saying hello. Until he recognizes your voice, identify yourself when you meet, and when you leave, please announce. It is easier for a person with visual impairments to walk with you than with the white cane. Let the person hold your elbow. You should always be one step ahead of the person with visual impairments. Do not forget that your body is the shield in this situation. Leave his hand on the chair so the person with visual impairments can sit. Let him know if there are any things or obstacles on the floor and at head level that are dangerous for him. When guiding through narrow spaces, move your guiding hand towards your back so the person you are guiding also knows to go behind you. Always tell a person with visual impairments if you are approaching stairs. Tell them if they go up and down so he can prepare and know if he is going up or down. Avoid using there or here and pointing to things, because if you are visually impaired, there and here and pointing in a direction means nothing to you. Words associated with vision are not taboo. Use them because they also use them. Seeing means feeling, understanding, and touching. Feel free to talk about the visual environment, television, sports. Persons with visual impairments have the same interests as you have. People with visual impairments seek friendship, and you together will have a great time. There are different techniques in using the white cane. For example, by following the corner between the wall and the floor, or by swinging it. In case a person with visual impairments is alone on the street and he is using the white cane, he can also use it to measure the height of the steps or stairs. Help discreetly when having a meal with a person with visual impairments by telling him about his dish on his plate like a clock. Please offer to also read the menu, including the prices. When reading or using a computer, persons with visual impairments are using text-to-speech software. This software is reading out loud the screen of the device. Here is an example of how such a software is working.
List of 5 items. Visited link, menu.
So we've got a list of 5 items, and we've got a link, which is menu.
Visited link, locations.
A link of locations.
Link, gift cards.
Gift cards.
Link, careers.
Careers.
Link, more.
More.
List end, blank.
All right, that's the end of the list. And then if we keep going down.
Visited heading level 1, link the Cheesecake Factory.
The next thing I hear is a heading level 1, and it says the Cheesecake Factory, and also tells me that that's a link.
Heading level 2, more than 250 dishes clickable.
More than 250 dishes.
Link, buy a gift card.
Buy a gift card.
While text-to-speech software is very useful and knows how to read a lot of text, we should still follow some rules. Here are some examples. Please close your eyes and try to listen to the following text.
Let's eat Tony. Let's eat Tony. Let's eat Tony. Let's eat Tony.
Could you notice the difference? When reading this text, you do not feel this difference, but when you are just hearing the text, it's very complicated to follow up on what the writer wanted to say. So punctuation is very important. Please use punctuation signs according to grammar rules in your language. Most processors and HTML feature an Alt option. While for the person viewing the text, the Alt option does not make any difference, when a text-to-speech reader is dealing with a photo which has an alt text, it will read its content for describing the photo. For example, in Word, you have image properties, and by clicking on it, you will get a pop-up which features Alt option. Notice how you can define both the title and the description of the photo. The description you provide should be relevant for the photo in the overall context of the document. Another important aspect is how you organize information. Please close your eyes again and try to find out when in the following schedule you have a free session.
Day. First session. Second session. Third session. Monday. Learning about disability. Learning about accessibility. Tuesday.
If you could not notice the difference, it is because we use the blank space to mark the free session. When we are visualizing the schedule, it is okay, but when a text-to-speech software is reading it to someone, he will not read the blank space, so the person who is listening to the text-to-speech software will not know where the free session is located. Now let's listen to the improved version of it.
Day. First session. Second session. Third session. Monday. Learning about disability. Free session. Learning about accessibility. Tuesday.
These were some tips that you can use for adapting your daily activities when involving persons with visual impairments. There are also some small adaptations that you can do for youth exchanges and training courses while working with persons with visual impairments. When you describe an activity, give clear and accurate instructions, using a clear tone of voice. Try to always face the participants who have visual impairments. While you do so, avoid walking around in the room. When sitting in a group, make it a habit to go around the room and have every person state their name. This way, the participant with visual impairment can associate the voice with the person and will remember the voice of the person. Address the participant with visual impairment by his or her name when directing the conversation to him or her. Do not use nodding or gestures or signs when referring to the person who is visually impaired. If the activity requires some writing, provide participants with low vision with thick black markers to write and some paper with thick and wide lines. If the participant is using braille and there is no access to a braille machine or a slate and stylus, then the blind participant can either record the answers on his or her smartphone, or the facilitator or another person in charge can record the answers on a paper and read them out loud to the group. Avoid using red and green color to create contrast for colorblind participants. If the activity requires participants to pick some objects either from a basket or from a bag, then encourage everyone to share the object he picked with the persons with visual impairments. Read out loud to the group any information which is displayed around the room and is relevant for the activity. Use more verbal instructions and explanations and less demonstrations. Give very specific and precise directions. Phrases such as turn to the fence, turn to the window, turn to the door are not no use for persons with visual impairments. If the participants are to draw a shape that is described to them by another participant, the ones who are blind or with low vision can use Play-Doh to create the shape. If any activity requires moving around in the room, then it is good to practice at the beginning some guiding techniques with all the participants so you can avoid accidents. If possible, provide any written information in the preferred format for the participants who have visual impairments. Please provide flash drives to the participants which contain all the handouts that you will hand out during the course or youth exchange. Describe verbally how discussions or activities are going. For example, name who has raised their hand to speak. Explain what you see on people's faces, agreements and incomprehension. Give information about what is happening in the room. If you are to divide the group into smaller groups, blind and partially sighted participants can be members of the groups that will be blindfolded or the group that has the least moving around the room. If possible, prior to the implementation of the activities, familiarize the participants who are blind or partially sighted with the layout of the venue. Make it a habit not to change the layout of the venue. In case you do so, ensure that you inform the participants about the change. This was a very brief presentation on how to accessibilize our work for persons with visual impairments. It seems a lot of information for now, but when you are actually using all the information we provided, you will find it is very easy to work with persons who have visual impairments and to include them in your work. Have a good day and thank you for participating to this webinar.